Okay, the next thing we're going to do now is we're going to investigate any services that are connected to the property, so water, gas, electricity, or whatever else it may be, just to make sure there's going to be no surprises along the way that are going to cause any problems with our subdivision. So what I've done here, I've logged into what's referred to as Dial Before You Dig, but the actual website is www.1100.com.au. And so I've logged in there. If you don't have a username and password, then obviously, all you need to do is just create one. So click on New User, give yourself a username and password, and then you'll be able to click Login, which I've got here. And you're going to go on New Inquiry. So click on New Inquiry. And then the purpose we're doing here is just say we design. We're just looking at options as far as subdivision can go. Activity. We're talking about subdivision, so click on subdivision. Job start date doesn't necessarily matter, but I suppose if it's going too far in the future, it may be a problem. So let's just go at the end of the month, and then let's just say it's going to be finished in 3 months, whatever we're doing. I like to put my reference to the address as well as the property that I'm, the client that I'm dealing with at the time. So this one here is 12 Francis Street, Brighton, and we are working on behalf of private, and then also we are going to look at both. So you can look at private property or the road reserve, or we can look at the private property and road reserve. I generally just choose everything we've got to choose from, so with the road, the footpath, the nature strip, just to make sure we're not going to miss anything along the way. We've gone next, and here we just put that address back in there again. You see this comes up a little drop down box, so you just pick the correct address there. Click on search. In theory, it should pick up the right property for yours. So sometimes it might be out. So what you really want to do is just make sure you're quite clear on which property it is we're referring to. If you're not sure, I'd go onto Google Earth and have a bit of a look around, just check the number of houses down from the corner or whatever, just to make sure you're looking at the right one. Then you come down here and you pick up this. You're actually going to circle it just so that there's no misunderstanding between the different. This actually, when you lodge this report, it's going to go out to all the different service providers. So in Adelaide, it's going to be SA Water and gas people and electricity people and SA Power Networks, they're called. So they're going to go out to all of them. So we want to make sure there's going to be no misunderstanding of the address. So by putting this street address in here, so what you do is just click on the first point, click on the second point, click on the third point, and click on the final point. When you get to the final point, you double click, and then that's highlighted the exact location of the property. Scroll down a little bit further, got all the address on there. If you want, you can put some notes in there about something. You need to put notes in there. Generally, there's not much reason to, unless there's something you're not clear on. We need to clarify. And then we click on submit. So when we click on that, it's actually lodged a job number and the date it's going to be submitted. And then we're going to, then it's going to send it out to all the different service suppliers. In this particular example, it's going to be sending it out to gas and petroleum people. So APA, they're called, Australian, I actually don't know what APA stands for. Doesn't matter. And then electricity is SA Power Networks, and water is SA Power, and then Telstra is going out for communications. You'll find that depending on the area, there may be other people involved as well. It may be the council, might be someone that would submit back a report, or it might be NBN in the area, if the NBN, National Broadband, is in the area, or it could be anything really. So by sending whoever's registered with Dial Before You Dig, they're having interest in that particular property, will then submit a report back saying, hey, these are the things you need to think about. So we just have a quick look at what will come back. I've already organised this before. So if we look at SA Water, so that will send you a cover letter, which will look like this, just telling you some information, just a bit of a disclaimer, to be honest, so doesn't really matter that much. Then we have what they call a water map. So this here is actually, you can see they've put a circle around our property, and we know we're number 12. And what this is showing is where the water meters are. So you can see here, the water meters on the left-hand side. And the reason why this is important, this is, if you're going to be designing some plans and you want to decide which side the house is going to sit on, if you're going to have a driveway going straight where the water meter is going to go, it is possible to move a water meter, so it's not the end of the world, but again, it's just going to cost you more money. So if we can try and design the house so it's away from the water meter, the other thing, then we're going to know where the new water meter is going to go as well. And so most likely if we've got water meter on one side, then we'll put the other water meter on the other side. So you notice here, one of the things that really, why this is important to run these sort of reports is because if we look at this example here in the corner of Francis Street here, we can see there is actually no water going down this road here. And so what that means, if we were to subdivide number 24, just like they've done next door here, number 26, we wouldn't actually have any water connection there. And so we'd have to come from this particular pipe here, which is possible. So that, but again, it may be a potential cost that we have to worry about. So it's just things you want to consider. Is there going to be problems as far as connecting up water? It might be they only have to go a certain distance, or maybe we can come down a bit of an angle and it won't be a problem. So most likely when this person did this subdivision here, or most likely probably this one, they then had to build the infrastructure or dig up the road to be able to put the pipe down here to be able to allow for the water to go down there. So again, just something to watch out for is that's the water connection. This one here is wastewater map. So this is the same, but it's basically the sewer connection. The same sort of thing. It stops halfway down the road. So the question then is, will we be able to access this block with that water connection, sewer connection? And the answer may be yes. The answer may be no. Even here, if you look at this one down the side here, you can see lot 2. If there's a potential to subdivide that, the question will be, where am I going to get my sewer connection for that particular one? It's even more, you notice on this one, particular one here, same sort of thing. Where's the sewer connection going to come from? So that's why you can see it's important to be able to look into this, the water and sewer connection. Something else we got here is SA Power. Let's come back as well. And they come back with a little bit of information to start. So you can read through there if you want to familiarise yourself with that. Okay, if we zoom out a little bit, we'll be able to see. I suppose what you really want to do is try to understand what all these little dots and lines mean. So here it says low voltage underground cable. So, and here we've got a electricity pole. So generally, electricity poles are above ground, underground cables are below ground. Generally, most new structures are going to try to be as much as possible below ground, and obviously new developments, they're all below ground as well. So yeah, just important to be able to see if there's going to be issues as far as trying to get electricity to the site. And because the reason why that's going to matter, obviously, it just comes down to cost. So example-wise, if we're going to subdivide this block down the corner here, we've got electricity pole here, and we've got electricity pole there. So we know that we're going to have to be digging up somewhere to try and get the electricity to that particular block or whatever. So just something to think about. We can see here, the block we're looking at is number 12 on Francis Street. That's this one here. So we can actually see there's a power pole here and there's a power pole over here. So let's say we did subdivide it down the middle here, then we may actually, there may be some additional costs to come from because we come from a relatively further distance to try and connect up the power. So again, just something extra to think about. Next thing we're looking at is the APA group, which is the gas. Coming down here, we can have a look here, just some information there, so feel free to have a read through that. Okay, this one's just highlighting that our target property that we're talking about. And here just shows whether we've got gas in our street or not. So again, they've highlighted which one our property is. And we can see this is the gas pipe going down the road then. So we actually know there is gas in this area. And again, this is not the end of the world. If we don't have gas, people can still live there. They may just have an electric hot water service or electric oven or whatever. So it's still possible to have a house without gas. Saying that though, a lot of people do like gas, and it is a feature which is appealing to people. So if we had gas, it would be a better thing. So that's it. For some reason here, I haven't got the Telstra one that's come back for some reason, but basically very similar. It's going to come back with a report telling you whether Telstra is in the street. Generally, when you're doing a subdivision in an area that's relatively built up, and most of the subdivisions I'm doing are in the metropolitan area, so most times we'd have gas, electricity, and water and telephone. It's more about, is there going to be any issues, or is there going to be complications with our connection for our subdivision? So it won't necessarily be that do we have it or not, but again, it's something to definitely check and make sure there's not going to be no surprises along the way. So that's pretty much it. So hopefully you can go out there and give it a go yourself now. And if you've got any questions, feel free to get in touch. Thanks.